Quick notice. Hey guys, just wanted to give you guys a heads up on the manhwa. Although it's a hidden gem, the story involves some very sensitive topics. I'm talking about the R word and such. Although I'm an asshole, I'm also conscious enough to ask for your opinions before covering it. Don't worry, the video covers the intro, so nothing sensitive happens. Give it a watch and let me know if you'd like to continue the recap. Anyway, on to the video. 2 centuries ago, the god of death and darkness, CHADY, reigned over the Dark Ages. For the people of this age, blood, death, and steel were their only way of life. But one day, a light descended upon their miserable existence. This light was the god of justice, Leto. Leto, alongside his 12 heavenly generals and 96 divine angels, descended upon the mortal world. With their divine sight and unstoppable power, they brought peace and order. They taught faith and justice to the non-believers, and as a result, the world finally enjoyed an age of peace. Or so they believed. In the dreadful Dragon's Valley, a desolate place marked by eternal sandstorms and death, a contrary event was playing out. The believers of the god, the so-called devout followers of the Almighty, now lay dead and bloody on the unforgiving desert ground. Amongst their corpses stood a lone figure, his sword bloody from the preceding battle. With labored breath, he stood resolute against his foes, his indomitable will palpable. The foes, likely soldiers from an army, cursed their luck. All they needed to do was capture a deserter, so why were they feeling this way? Why did a mere soldier of the Red Unit feel so damn threatening? The deserter, bearing obvious lethal wounds and insufferable fatigue, addressed the foes. He advised them to leave, as his patience was running low. If they chose to refuse his goodwill, he'd have no choice but to fight his way out. One of the soldiers, a Kakashi wannabe, replied to the deserter. He chastised him for speaking so rudely to his superiors. In a mocking tone, he asked if he truly believed he'd survive a joint attack from them. The Black Unit. The deserter, Teo, didn't reply. He stood firmly, letting his demeanor do the talking. The Black Unit, not getting the fearful reply they expected, immediately charged at Teo, their bloodlust evident. Donning a grim face, Teo cursed the bastards. What joint attack? They were just charging him. Deciding to go on the offensive, he activated his ability. With a crimson shine in his eyes, his power transferred all his pain to the soldiers. An unbelievable pain struck the cocky bastards, stunning them instantly. Grim-faced, they wondered where all the pain came from. Teo, however, didn't bother with a reply. With quick slashes and a singing sword, he blitzed past the soldiers, blessing each of them with death. In a regretful tone, he expressed his desire to avoid further bloodshed, but they left him no choice. As the battlefield fell silent and the foe's blood soaked the desert floor, Teo stood victorious, the only one left standing in that desolate hell. The bootleg Kakashi, barely clinging to life, cursed his rotten luck. He'd known the mission was trouble. If only he'd listened to his gut. His useless ramblings, however, were cut short by a cold sword to his neck. Teo hadn't forgotten about his worthless life. Kakashi, seemingly coming to terms with his inevitable demise, didn't panic. Instead, he remarked that death didn't scare him. But before dying, he had one question. Gazing at Teo's bloody and wounded body, he asked how he was still standing. Teo's power forced others to feel his pain. If so, how was he still on his feet? Gazing darkly at the fallen foe, Teo didn't reply. With sputtered blood, he sliced the man's throat, ending his pathetic life. Why should he answer him? He had better things to do. With all the foes killed, Teo sighed in relief. It was finally over. Although he didn't answer Kakashi's question, it still touched him. Indeed, why was he still standing? Before he could ponder further, an arrow tore through the air, blitzing the shit out of him. The blow was so powerful that he bounced off the ground 3 times before crashing pathetically against the valley walls. Reeling and coughing up a mouthful of blood, Teo cursed. He wondered if the bastards had already found him. True to his worries, the scene panned to a mysterious silhouette perched atop a nearby rock. The obscured figure mocked him, wondering aloud what he tasted like. Sweet? No. Judging by how much he squirmed, she was sure he tasted savory. With an ominous giggle, she addressed her arrow, asking if it wanted to taste the prey's blood for her. This crazy bitch was Sika, the Invisible Hand, a member of the Angel's private army. Drawing her bow, Sika promised the arrow a better taste. She would deliver the juiciest wound, so the arrow had better tell her all about it. Yep, This bitch is definitely crazy. With that, she released the arrow, sending it flying toward Teo. Having finally recovered from the earlier sneak attack, Teo resolutely stood his ground. With his shield in hand, he knew he could block the attack. His confidence, however, quickly crumbled when he realized it wasn't just one arrow, but multiple. In a split second, the crazy Sika unleashed a barrage on him, leaving Teo with no option but to dodge clumsily, barely clinging to life. Sika, losing track of Teo, finally stopped her relentless assault. With a crazed look, she teased him for hiding. Teo, oblivious to her taunts, gazed gravely at the arrows. He wondered what was up with them. Normal arrows shouldn't be that powerful, let alone sink so deeply into hard rock. Before he could ponder further, an ominous voice called out to him. Sika, now in the air above him, teased that while she might excel at sniping, she was also very good at chasing her prey. With her usual crazed look, she commanded Teo to give her a taste of his blood. Her confidence, however, immediately faded as an unbearable pain assaulted her crazy ass. Teo, with a crimson shine in his eyes, told the lunatic it was stupid to get so close. She should have just kept sniping. With a thunderous thud, Sika crashed, kicking up a dust storm. Gazing at the frothing lunatic, Teo remarked that she was lucky. Due to his wounds, he couldn't even lift his arms. The crazy bitch could keep her pathetic life. For now. Removing an arrow from his body, he lamented his excessive blood loss. However, that wasn't important to him right now. His mind kept replaying Kakashi's question over and over like a cursed loop. Despite the pain, the wounds, and the constant wish for death, why was he still standing? The answer was simple. He couldn't feel the pain. He had already lost his life the day he lost her. What was left was nothing but an empty shell. A shell desperately trying to destroy the bastards who took her away from him. A shell resolute not to die until that task was done. No matter what, he would keep living. The scene cut to a mysterious entity gazing at the unconscious Sika. He remarked that she had most likely gotten careless, hence her pathetic state. Beside him, a companion chimed in, asking if they should continue the chase. The man rejected the idea, saying there was no need. Mocking Teo, he said the fool obviously thought he'd lose them if he entered the sandstorm, but that was a mistake. Beyond the sandstorm lay the Faithless Lands, a place filled with heretics who had lost their loved ones to Leto's blade. No matter how much he ran, all the things he did in the name of justice, all the vile actions performed under the guise of sacred guidance, would come back to bite him. True to his words, deep within the sandstorm, an unwanted visitor approached the unconscious Teo. With her sword drawn, she raised it, ready to end his life.